We are considering GCSE Art and Design as a subject choice. Now, it's worth considering that it is a heavy coursework subject. There is 60% coursework in the portfolio with 2 resolved projects and 40% within the exam task. It is all governed by the GCSE mark scheme, and you will see there are various levels of attainment. We spend our time guiding you to evidence higher level work. There are 4 key assessment objectives, and we will go through these one at a time so you can understand exactly what they are. The first one is about ideas and how we guide you to evidence ideas within your work and investigation. So here we have the theme of food, and the pupils have gone on to consider various ideas. These are genuine ideas that they are looking at within their portfolios of work. Healthy eating, food groups, the ethics of food production. In this example, we have a pupil has produced a PowerPoint which makes links between the artist Andy Warhol and the arrangement of supermarket shelves. He thinks about lockdown and the limitations on some food and makes connections, having been to the Imperial War Museum North, about healthy eating and rationing. He considers nutritional information within food packaging and looks at packaging itself to explore within ideas. We move on to making and refining, and this is the practical work. So here you will see some really beautiful and resolved drawing. This drawing is not rushed, it's developed over a long period of time and it cannot be done quickly. You'll see the pupils go on to sample in a wider range of material, drawing through collage, pencil, crayon. This is more pencil crayon and fine liner. This is an absolutely beautiful painting, which has been done with watercolours. We have a monoprint with watercolour wash going on. We have drawing that's been taken through digital processes, and you can see experiments there. And we can move on to see how a pupil has taken something and repeated it like an Andy Warhol and developed digital design. There are various print samples, and we see juxtapositions between drawing and photography, and pupils taking their work into 3-dimensional work. The third assessment objective is about recording, and we largely look at this as documentation through the sketchbook or the boards. We work in various ways depending on the unit of work. In this example, we see a GCSE sketchbook where the pupil has referenced artists and started to sample. We see various drawings and compositions, and we see how they have been influenced by their artist choices. This piece of work is influenced by an earlier model and it's made on a laser cutter. We see the pupil exploring symmetry and design. We can see this work has been influenced from an earlier model, and the drawing connects to the artist Zaha Hadid as he explores space. He cuts out and explores composition with regular and irregular formats, and he goes on to make connections. It develops further and he experiments widely. And later he introduces the work of Anthony Gormley, and you can see figures moving around within this spatial setting. My next example features 3 different boards. Now, this shows us that this is based upon the theme geometric, and it is an externally set task. The pupil chooses to look at abstract information and draw from it. He then goes on to make print samples and collage and make small 3-dimensional models. He samples with surface and then starts to make nets and constructions, exploring different processes. He photographs and documents because this is 3-dimensional work. He looks at various artists along the way. You can see how this layering has influenced some of his own choices within his own photographic compositions. He starts to layer and cut and make more abstract models, shining lights on them, and then goes on to construct a larger piece of work with a light shining very strongly on it to create an outcome. And finally, we look to the personal response. This is the outcome. And in the MGS gallery, we have examples of our low relief and 3-dimensional work. Each of these pieces was produced by a pupil as part of either their coursework or their examination project. You can see a diverse range of work, and none of them are copies of artist work. They are original and a development outcome for the pupil work. Hopefully this has offered some insight into the assessment objectives and the type of work we do in years 10 and 11.